Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to your favorite show, The Weekly Matters. Today with me we have a very interesting topic to discuss: peace, cohesion, devolution, and many other things that happen within the week. With me on my right hand side is Daniel Omondi, the CEO of the Global Peace Foundation. On my left hand side is Ray Ochieng, the CEO of the National Youth Council. And far end on the left is Simba Hashim, an activist, a human rights crusader, and also works with the international organization, the UN. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
If I start with you, Daniel, the Global Peace Foundation is a global entity that's known for bringing people together, peace, cohesion. But I don't want to preempt you. We have talked off air. Can you brief us and tell our viewers what you do exactly and what is that about before we go deep into the conversation?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here in Horizon TV. Our organization is called the Global Peace Foundation, and I'm the country director. Our office is international office is in the United States, and I run the Kenyan office. We believe that peace is not just absence of war. Peace is a structural issue. So if the youth don't have employment, if the women don't have food for their children, then you cannot be at peace. So that's why we work to be able to empower the youth, to be able to, to have livelihoods. We also work with women, and that is how we try to intervene to address the issue of peace. If you look at this country, for example, yes. 2007, 2008, we had a problem with the elections. Every 5 years we have electoral issues, right? But it is the youth, who are idle, who don't have jobs, who are available for misuse by the crooked politicians, by extremists, to be able to cause chaos.
Okay, you see, and I don't want to cut it short, but yes. Talking of youth being idle, yes. And such stuff, yes. Today with us we have someone who can talk that in detail.
Yes, absolutely.
But that line of youth being idle has been used for quite a long, yeah. And is there a reason? First of all, before we go to all those reasons, I understand that currently, before we go to the idleness and all this part and what can be done about that, you have told me about that you are currently involved in some activities to bring the youth together, and also especially in schools.
Yes.
I am so much interested in that. What is it about? What is that?
Okay, so we in the Kenyan office is focusing more on education because we believe that education, just like Nelson Mandela said, is the most powerful tool that you can use to change the world. So we work with stakeholders in the Ministry of Education and all other stakeholders to transform education so that it is relevant to the expectations of this century. So we are saying that education should be able to provide solutions to our problems. And like in the years, when the other years, they said that the song that used to go, that so many vijana, mkimaliza kusoma, mtapata kazi mzuri.
Yes.
That song, they never sing it. Because those days, jobs were readily available.
Yes.
But nowadays, you find that every year we have millions, leaving school to a job market that's already full. So we must be able to nurture to nurture our youth with the mindset of entrepreneurship. So we are saying that the system of education should move from that churns job seekers to a system that churns out job creators, so that they can create more jobs, they can hire more youths, rather than going out to look for jobs in a market that's already full.
You're going to tell us how you're going to do that.
Yes.
Daniel talks about idle youths who are being misused because they are idle politically.
They said crooked politicians.
By crooked politicians, yes. Now, Reo Cheng, I know you have recently been appointed as the CEO.
Yeah.
First of all, Before we go into how we can discuss about the youth being idle, what can be done about that, and such kind of stories, introduce yourself and your office.
Yeah, to the viewers, I'm Raymond Ochieng, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Council. The National Youth Council was brought by an Act of Parliament of 2009 that envisaged, and I believe some of us have fought for that idea to be, for just young people to have a space through which legitimately they can push for their agenda without being smoked or without being victimized, because the act is very clear. So NYC is the voice of the young people. I know definitely we are not actually there yet, because I know some viewers may be saying, if it is the voice of the people and we've just heard what is happening even in our discussions here. Yes. When you mention the word youth, yes, there are a lot of many vices. It's a huge sea of gaps and challenges when it comes to violent extremism, when it comes to unemployment, when it comes to young people being used, when it comes to young people who do not have capacity. So one thing I would state, that the youth challenge is not only a Kenyan challenge, it's an African challenge. And it's a global challenge. And why I'm mentioning Africa is that Africa is going to be, actually it's the young continent, because demographically it's very clear that Africa has got the numbers. And mostly, and surprisingly, it's a bulge that every African nation has to deal with, whereby you're going to be talking about Africa is having an average of over 60% of the population of each country comprising of young people. So imagine if you don't engage these young people into meaningful, and that's what Daniel was also saying, into meaningful engagements to a point whereby they are job creators and they can do something with their lives. If you don't do that, then we'll have the violent cycles and the political strategies that you see.
Now, talking of job creation for the youth, about 3 weeks ago, we had the devolution conference. Before the devolution conference, there was the youth summit for devolution. And the reason why I'm starting with that, I want to bring my friend Simba to this discussion.
True.
Now, you talked about job creation. How is devolution in tandem with job creation for the youth? And we all understand that devolution was brought to this country so that it can ease burden and create opportunities for everyone, but more so for the young people of this country. Because if devolution succeeds, the rural area will succeed, and by rural area succeeding, the youth will have an opportunity to advance their interests and many other stuff. So, talking of job creation, and having attended that conference, because I saw you in that
Actually, I'm the one who organized the pre-devolution conference,
exactly,
the first one.
The pre-devolution conference, because I was following the social media conversation. Of course, me and you, we follow each other on Twitter. And we have known each other for quite a long time. Before here.
So youth are not idle. It
shows
we did something.
We did something.
We did something with our idleness.
But the thing is, I wanted to tell me how devolution can be used to enhance the creation of jobs, and whether we are still succeeding 5 years down the devolution, as far as devolution is concerned.
Down the line. Let me break it down very simply. What's the role of a government? A government is not an employer. And the problem that we have, that we've also said here, when graduates are being churned, and what people expect, every young person in the street is a white-collar job. When people meet me, every young person is giving me a CV, employing me somewhere. They are thinking about suit and tie. We are not thinking about holistically the opportunities. And again, we are also a little bit disadvantaged, because our sectors are not yet there diversified to a point whereby somebody may just say, they're into an area of animal specialization, and it's a huge sector. So we have these sectors that are a little bit very shrinked, and people just think about employment. So what I was saying, what the government does, the government gives an enabling environment. It will absorb, yes. Can I shock you that in the public service, from job group P and above, that's when you're talking about, you see, when you're talking about jobs with young people, you're talking about the 3D jobs, demeaning, derogative, and all the Ds that we have. There are only 73 people, young people, between job group P and above.
Imagine.
In the whole of the public service.
And you're talking about youth empowerment.
We're talking about the youth empowerment. So the thing is, the government will never be an employer. It is an enabler in terms of creating an environment. So you've asked me about devolution. How do the counties come in? The national government will tell you, one, we don't have the finances, there's a challenge. Look at what the government is grappling with education, lecturers. We have health. We have Cuban doctors coming. It tells you that it's trying to use the small that it has to spread it across. So what should the counties do? Counties are 47 decentralized governments. So it means the county government should do the same thing that the national government is doing. But what we are doing about devolution was a concept whereby you are bringing government to the people. So then if we bring them to the people, counties should not do a new thing. Actually, they should not reinvent the wheel. Actually, because some of these counties, how old are they? They are very few.
5 years.
They are 5 years old. The government of Kenya has been 50 plus
years.
something years, and it's still trying to invent and create the system. Some are not. Some needs to be overhauled because they are redundant. Some needs to be enhanced. Some needs to be retweaked. So what happens with the counties? The counties must also create those enabling environment. And how do they do that? Private sector is key. We have talked here about stakeholders. The counties must bring stakeholders on board, both local and international. The counties must also invest in their own internal resources, because every county is unique in its own. I come from the fish
side of
the fish side of the country.
Yes.
And you hear right now Chinese today, if you read the newspaper,
Yes.
they have brought 48 containers.
And I come from the camel side.
And you come from the camel side. 48 containers of fish. What does that tell you? My governor needs to style up.
And maybe that means they're killing the industries.
They're killing the industries.
In the lakeside.
Where will you
now, in that context, to cut it short, in that context,
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
there are people who are in the counties
Yeah.
or who make sure that the counties do what they are supposed to do.
True.
We have here a friend called Simba Hashim.
Yeah.
I want us to tell, right now he has a case in the courts with the county he comes from. He will tell us which county he comes from and what he's doing about devolution, the process of enhancing devolution and how youth can. Hashim, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And tell us what you are up to.
Yeah, it's good. I was just listening to this important discussion.
Yes.
In my opinion, and my very honest opinion, I think where we started going wrong as a country is that moment we just say youth need jobs. We need job creation. Very good, fancy ideas. Mm-hmm. But the first step, the first question we need to ask ourselves is that, are we training our youth for the job market? That is the first question. 2, have we ever done labor force survey? Or do we have vibrant and dynamic labor market information system in this country? That, for example, if you look at the labor force survey that was conducted by ILO in collaboration with COTU, you realize that this country has shortage of 60,000 plumbers and over 200,000 electricians. So what we have now is that we are training people
on procurement.
Supply is so high, and the demand is not there.
True.
You train people. So what we need to do is we need to train our people on demand-driven, employment-oriented skills and labor markets that is relevant to the needs of the labor market. That is 1. 2, I am surprised always when we say there is no job in this country. The question is, are we training our youth only for the Kenyan market? That is the question. I don't work in this country. I've never worked in this country for 17, 18 years. But what I believe is that if we train our people for the international global market, look at, for example, Philippines. A lot of Filipinos work outside. They have been exported
to Dubai imports labor force from, East
Cubans
Asia.
Are coming. Cubans
yes,
are coming.
we are bringing Cubans.
100 of them.
Yes. So the question is, where we started going wrong is, 1, we need to have vibrant labor market information system at the Ministry of Labor so that we know which sector is saturated, that we have so much in this sector. In this sector we don't have. And we go by subsector. That is number 1. Number 2, our curricula, if you look at it, the one that we use, we always talk about half-baked graduate, half-baked this, that. It's because what we do is that our curricula is not competency-based. When you talk about competency-based curricula, we look at the skills, the knowledge, the attitudes, and competencies that somebody should have for him to execute a certain job. Somebody is trained medical doctor, but if you on paper he can do surgery, laparoscopy or whatever, very well written. But if you bring him a human patient and tell him, okay, whatever you are writing, do it here, it's very hard. Why? Because he doesn't have the competency. He has the knowledge.
So what happened? Where is the gap? Is it the training institution, or is it the training after you graduate? Where is the gap?
The mismatch between the needs of the market and the training institution.
Okay.
1, 2. Now coming to the youth and the
counties vis-a-vis counties.
Sometimes we blame the counties, yes, because they are not giving youth jobs. Because youth don't have the competencies required, fine. But again, counties, if you look at the county where I come from, and I have a lot of cases in court.
We will come to that.
We will come to that. But what I'm saying is that a lot of our youth join, getting radicalized because unemployment is so high. And youth try to start maybe small business. They don't have entrepreneurship skills. Our emphasis is on entrepreneurship. But we cannot have everybody in enterprises. Who is going to buy from who? If everybody is a businessman.
Okay, so we will come back to that. But before, due to the essence of time, we don't have time. We are going for a break. We'll be back. But just to inform our viewers that we are going for a break. We'll be back in the next few minutes. Keep it there.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Welcome back to your favorite show, The Weekly Matters. I'm your host, Ahmed Qadar. We're also live on our social media pages, Horizon TV Kenya. At Twitter is Horizon TV Kenya, the same. My personal Twitter is at Ahmed Qadar1. And Daniel Omondi, Ray Ochieng, Simba Hashim. Same title, same handles, I guess. Yeah. So, welcome back to the show. Before I go back to Simba Hashim.
My handle is Aro Chieng.
Sorry, yeah, Aro Chieng.
Mine is Real Daniel Juma.
Yeah, Real Daniel Juma. And yours is?
Simba Hashim.
Simba Hashim. Of course, mine is as the usual one, at Ahmed Qadar1. Before I go to Simba Hashim, I mean, as to continue what you were doing, on the issue of peace. And we have had many conflicts, not only during the election time, but especially in the pastoralist regions, you know, there's always conflicts between communities, one-time land, one-time animals, and you have told me that you are about to start Lip Hub in high schools in northern Kenya. How is that going to affect the future? How is that going to impact in future in terms of reducing? Because these are kids who are in school now are the future leaders, they're the future generation. And how will this impact in reduction of conflict within communities in northern Kenya, what you're doing right now?
Thank you. Thank you. This falls within our theory of change. As I've told you, if you have this big bunch of youth who are unemployed, who don't have a future, then they are available for anything, you know. And just like you said, you spoke about the mismatch between education. So our system of education, as I keep saying, it needs to be transformed. And right now we need 21st century skills. So these Lip Hubs are spaces in high schools, which, you know, is available for these students, especially those students who are keen, who are motivated to be entrepreneurs. So we provide them with the spaces. They go inside the spaces. They can be able to incubate their business ideas. These spaces are equipped with the internet, computers, and stuff like that. So we are the first organization. Maybe you've heard about iHub.
Yes. Yeah, iHub, down in Nairobi, somewhere going
But the Lip Hubs are the iHub in the schools. Because we want this thing.
Is the Lip related to the library?
No, leap
Sort
is
of?
like leap, like
Jump.
leadership
Okay,
and entrepreneurship. huh?
Okay.
You know, I'll give you brief statistics. We have almost 500,000, you know, KCSE students living in high schools. Out of these, only 10% go to the universities. Then another 15% go to the tertiary colleges. That means a bigger, more than 60, almost 70% don't go to the university, don't go to the tertiary colleges. If we had, you know, shown these students or impacted them with entrepreneurial skill, then even if they don't go to the university, he'll go to Gikomba, buy some shoes, sell. Go buy Sukuma Wiki, sell. Or maybe you've heard about, I mean, I've heard about the plumbing thing.
Yes.
In Europe, I stayed in Germany and Korea. In Europe and in those countries, the blue-collar jobs pay more than the white-collar jobs. But in Kenya, you tell a student in the university, go and be a plumber, or go and do construction, or go and sweep the streets. I don't want to come out umemdharau. You know, it's terrible.
Yeah, because the problem that we have is, you know, the moment you mentioned that 10% go to the university,
Yes.
that means those are the top cream.
Yes.
You have already condemned the 90%.
Of course.
And that is where we start going wrong.
Okay.
Because what we lack in this country is that the blue collar job is as important as white collar job. That should be emphasized right from beginning. So that because you missed university, you have no other option. Therefore, you have to end up somewhere else.
Which is a wrong mentality.
Which is a very wrong thing. So what is required is that in Germany, for example, we have what we call articulation pathway. Articulation pathway is where, regardless of whether you go to through the normal schooling system or through the polytechnic or vocational college, you still end up in the same level.
Yes.
Somebody can start in Kenya, for example, as a plumber, trade test 3. He will sit for trade test 2, trade test 1, and then diploma in construction or whatever, civil engineering.
Good.
And then higher national diploma, and then national diploma, and then you will have professor in civil engineering. But where did he start?
Grade 1.
Trade test 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you go through the normal education system. You start with degree in civil engineering, masters, and PhD. So there is that articulation pathway whereby you merge.
Yes.
But now in Kenya, the problem that we have is that vocational education or TVET, technical vocational education, is a dead end.
I know. But
that is
Especially
a
once since the parallel degree thing started,
I know.
Yes.
people don't even go to college nowadays.
And we have killed all the tertiary colleges.
Yes.
We have converted them to
universities.
universities.
Yes.
That is where we started going wrong.
But are we also aware that we know the STEM program that has also really propelled the Asian tigers? That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Right now, the government is revamping the technical courses. That's a fact. The TVETs are revamped.
Yes.
And there are partnerships that right now is pumping millions at TVET in every county. And I think from where I sit, one of the things that also we need, Simba, we have to change is the social engineering of the Kenyan youth. Because if we work on the hardware and we don't work on the software, this is where we are going to be having a problem.
But
and
the question is, the question is, sorry,
Yeah.
is that
I'm
we
answering
are
it.
revamping the TVET sector.
Yes.
We are putting machinery.
Yes.
We are hiring lecturers.
True.
The thing is that are those skills provided in those institutions relevant to the
Outside,
market?
yes.
You see, if you start training someone to repair a manual car with carburetor and I don't know what.
We producing
today
cars.
But Simba,
technology is dynamic.
It's dynamic. Simba, you are answering yourself. You know,
That's the problem we have.
You're the one who said the gaps that we have in this country.
Mismatch.
And the mismatch that we have in this country. And it's not only mismatch. We have a whole mass literacy and elevation of the art courses in this country. Whereby, just take a sample, get some students and ask them which course they are doing. And right now, even parents, that's why I say we need a social engineering. The government is laying, I'm not saying the government is, I'm not here to paint everything glow, but there are a lot of structures that are being laid.
Talking
but
of government,
I'm also saying,
talking of
I'm also
government
saying, let me
okay,
say this,
okay.
that the fact that the government is laying all this does not mean it will not succeed if we also don't have the social reengineering.
Yeah.
What are the parents in this country saying? A parent, if I'm a father, Daniel will tell you, I'll tell my daughter, do procurement.
Yes.
If I hear there's an engineering course, mechanical,
Yes.
I'll say mechanical for 5 years, 6
Yes,
years,
yes.
and I hear, and you know, even what parents are saying, adult Kenyans,
Yes.
that my daughter do procurement
Yes.
because there's a lot of
Money.
there's a lot of money.
That
in
is
it.
a
Yes.
very wrong concept now.
Yeah,
The thing
and
is,
that's what is happening.
The biggest problem that we have,
Yes.
one of the biggest employer in this country is the private sector.
Yes.
Are they involved in the training?
Yeah,
of the
or,
youth?
or what kind of curriculum
Because-
goes
because
in those?
if-
But
if-
let me just say
if-
that
let's
KEPSA
give
is involved.
let's give Daniel a chance.
right now I'm happy that government,
Yeah.
and you know this,
Daniel,
government is
thank
now
you.
reviewing the curriculum.
Yeah.
We have
That
been
government
working-
should not review the
no,
curriculum.
but it's happening
Sorry,
now.
but that is not the business of the
Yeah,
government.
yeah, but let me just
because
finish.
look, if
Yes.
I am an employer,
Yeah.
I have a construction company,
Yes.
or I have a electric company, I know the kind of skills I want.
Yes.
I should be involved in the training of those youth
Yes.
so that they are trained to the needs of the market.
But
Okay.
the custodian
So,
of
I-
But
I
the
was-
government
custodian of
is only
curriculum
to
is government.
facilitate.
Yeah, they
The government-
facilitate by
because the
becoming them.
moment you divorce private sector in all this, then it
Then there's
is
a problem.
finished.
So I was just
because
explaining
if, for
to you-
example, Coca-Cola company is one of the biggest employer, or Safaricom,
Yes.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
They know the kind of
Skills that they want.
That are
they
needed.
want.
Yeah.
So you have to train them what they need.
Okay.
Yes.
But think that Daniel was going to say that.
Let me just
that's
tell
why
you,
we
give me time to explain to you what
Yes.
we're doing with the government.
Okay.
Because my organization is working with the Ministry of Education. We are partnering with the Ministry of Education. We are working with the KICD to transform the curriculum. And they have done, quite a lot of work. And right now they are on a pilot system. What we are calling the competency-based curriculum is actually being rolled out as a pilot. And some of the things that they're doing are the things that we've been saying, that we need to instill. For example, you talk about the software. We, as Global Peace Foundation, has been saying that you need to instill character in these students when they are young. Because, as they say, it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. So that is being infused within the curriculum. The curriculum is talking about national values, about respect, about hard work. And those are the kind of things that we are talking about. So if this can be actualized, then we can have a youth, who will not be able
Now,
to fight
in
every
your program,
election.
for instance,
Yes.
are you doing it as an organization on your own, or are you partnering with counties or the national government? How is the?
It is the responsibility of government to provide services.
Okay.
As an organization, we can only create models. So what we have done, we did a pilot program in a few schools that showed that, if you, and Kipra did an analysis and found out that in the schools where we did these pilots, academic performance improved. The relationship between the students and teachers also improved. And then also, cases of indiscipline went down. So this report is then the Ministry of Education, and it is up to the government to take it up and be able to replicate.
What it's saying is
yes.
a holistic approach
Yes,
to youth problems.
of course. Yes.
Whether social, whether economic, whatever, holistic approach.
Yes.
And this requires multi-pronged approach to all of this.
Now, Ajim, sorry to cut you short. Okay, finish before I ask the next question.
So, but what I am saying is that you will require, yes, it's good. Government is a custodian. For employment, you have to involve the employer
Of course.
in
Private sector.
in the private sector.
Yes.
Secondly, you cannot train people who have jobs but who don't own loyalty to this country or who are not peace-loving citizens. That is also one aspect that you need to address.
Of course.
Because these are the drivers and dynamics of conflict also. Because,
Now, Hashim, and Daniel has talked about what they're doing in some places in northern Kenya. Now, I'm back to the question of devolution. And counties are supposed to create enabling environment also, just like the national government, for the youth to do their work and prosper. You have been accused by some quarters in Mandera County that you are sabotaging them, that you have gone to court to stop their appointments of the CECs and the chief officers. Did you go there? Did you go to court? Did you stop the appointment of the CECs in the name of fighting for the space for the youth, while the youth omitted in those appointments, what is the genesis of your case? Make us understand, and for our viewers'
Okay,
sake.
if you look at the case,
Yes.
I took to the court the one of the chief officers
Yes.
and the one of the CECs,
Yes.
and I'm also writing another one
Yes.
because they're hiring directors.
Yes.
One of the things is that youth are completely neglected.
Yes.
The ones who are shortlisted,
Yes.
because the definition of youth in the Kenyan context
Yes.
is those 35,
Yeah. 18 to 35.
18 to 35.
And by the time you're 35, you
Yeah.
must be, I expect someone to be basically educated.
Educated and
Yes.
competent.
And competent, yes.
But if the people you are shortlisting, 107, all of them are above the age of 40, then we have a problem. That is one. Two, if the people you are shortlisting, 107 people, only 7 are females,
yes.
it's also a big issue.
Yes. Even unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional.
Yes.
So that is why I went to the Constitutional Court,
Yes.
not the Labour Court.
Yes. You went to the
Because-
Constitutional Court.
Constitutional Court,
Uh-huh.
because this is on Bill of Rights
Yes.
issues. So that is one of, and if you look at the county executive, all of them above the age of 50, 60. So and then we have a CEC in charge of youth, and you are 60.
How?
It's a convergence.
It's
of
the mismatch
experience.
you are talking
It's a
about.
convergence
It's
of
the
experience.
mismatch you are talking
It's a
about.
convergence of experience.
So the thing is that,
Ray is telling you it's a convergence. Do you agree with what he's saying?
no.
And on a light
Yes,
note,
yes, yes, I know.
All I'm saying is that,
I know.
one, right people for the right job. Two, the issue of diversity. I'm not saying that we should shut out all, I mean, if you're above 40, you are useless, no, and obsolete, no. But you have skills required in certain area. All of us have different competencies.
Yes.
And right people for right job, youth, you should be given their quota and where they are competent, but don't shut them out.
Was your order complied with?
It wasn't.
Did they went ahead and interviewed people?
Yes. Now there is contempt also now.
Uh-huh.
The judge will listen to it on the 21st.
What's your take on that? As far as you have an order, no one complies. What is your what's your feeling about that?
You know, I worked in for the last 18 years in lawless countries.
Yes.
Afghanistan, Syria, and wherever. That moment you stop obeying court orders, that is recipe for chaos.
Okay.
Because the moment you lose faith in the court, what happens? You take a panga.
Anarchy.
Because the court is supposed to, regardless of who you are, whether you are the president or...
And that's where the issue of peace and
peace and harmony
comes in. Now, and before I come to you, Hashim has talked about the issue of labor force survey and demand-driven training, for skills and jobs. As the CEO of the National Youth Council, what mandates or what role do you guys play as far as in making sure that the youth of this country have competent and and they are well trained for skills? Not necessarily, of course, I know that the National Youth Council sometimes may not have the mandate of ensuring that the universities comply with that and this. But what is your role as the National Youth Council in ensuring that the youth of this country have the proper and adequate training and skills required? Keep it there. We'll come back to you. We are going for a break. We are going for a break because we don't have time. My director is on my neck. We are going for a break. But before we go for a break, I just want to remind our viewers that the show is on. And as usual, we are live on our usual social media platforms: Facebook, Horizon TV Kenya; Twitter, Horizon TV Kenya again; and myself at Ahmed Qadar 1. We'll be back. Keep it there.
You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Welcome back to the show, your favorite weekly show, The Weekly Matters. We are continuing with the discussion we had with the CEO of the National Youth Council, Ray Ochieng, Simba Hashim, an activist and international humanitarian worker. And I'm now introducing a new guest to our last segment of the show. This is Umi Harun Mohammed. She's the founder of the Kesho Alliance, a student-to-student organization. Umi, welcome to the show. Guys, I've been here before you. We had a discussion. I'm sure you have been following off.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the show and tell us about yourself and what you do.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Khair Harun from the Kesho Alliance. We are based in Garissa, northeastern Kenya, and we focus on education in the region. I mean, we all know how education is there, and also on matters of the youth. We also try to fight radicalization by doing workshops, trainings for the youth, and online, like mobilization.
Okay, Daniel was here, the CEO for the Global Peace Foundation.
Yes.
And he's doing some marvelous work in northern Kenya, especially in the LEAP hubs, and also creating, entrepreneurship training within the schools in northern Kenya.
Yes, yes.
How closely are you working with? Do you have any work relation, or what is the arrangement?
So early this year on March, we were nominated for an award, and we won the Zuri Award. So during the gala night is when we met with the Global Peace Foundation. And because of the kind of work that we do and their line of work, we kind of came on board. So he decided to partner with the Kesho Alliance. We have a memorandum of understanding with him. So we decided now, they already had a project, the LEAP Hubs, which they're done in other schools. There are so many success stories if you look at it. So we thought, now why not in Northeastern? Because the kids in Northeastern are, let me say, more vulnerable, and also they're business oriented. We also want to curb the unemployment issues. So LEAP Hubs is a good project. We have now started working in Garissa High School because it's one of the national leading schools. Now we will work with the boys to train them on how the LEAP Hub works, and we are really hoping for
We'll come back to you.
Yes.
I'm sure you have been following the show. We had other matters in discussion. And I was asking before we went for break. Hashim has talked about labor force survey, matching the right skill with the right job, competency based and such stuff. As the CEO of the National Youth Council, the body that's mandated to oversee matters youth in this country, what are you guys doing about what we have just discussed?
What Hashim has said.
Do you guys play any role in what kind of labor survey or for the youth or competency-based training for the youth? And if I remember, if my memory serves me well, sometimes back the government started an academy somewhere in Kasarani. I don't know what became of it. Can you take us through that?
First of all, I want to congratulate Hashim, and we are, as the National Youth Council, we like those souls and brave souls that take it upon themselves and champion for the rights of the vulnerable young people, and even and not a youth, and taking on the mighty systems of a county government and its systems. And let me tell you, whether you lose the court case, you've done your part. And I'm not saying that losing is the end to it. But at the end of the day, this shows the little thing that we can do. And remember when we were with you, Daniel, and you, we trace our roots very far. When we didn't have hope, there was nothing that we could hold on, but we became consistent with the little things that, and look at, we have not reached yet, but we have spaces we are influencing because we did something. So what am I saying? The National Youth Council is the voice. And as a voice, we do three things. One is advocacy. Number two is research. Number three is advisory. So when it comes to some of the things that you've raised, that Hashim has raised, that in terms of these skill sets, how do we also create interventions that addresses the gaps that we've had, that we have many, the mass literation whereby you have many young people being churned into the market, but they're not the right skills. Have we also done a skill set survey to know what we have? And we have already, it's not rocket science. The technical courses are a gem in this country. We have reached a point whereby even to get a mechanic that is consistent, is you consider yourself privileged.
Yes.
To say you have a mechanic, because we have thugs that masquerade
Yes, they
as,
just come there
as mechanics,
Yes.
and it tells you
Yes.
the gap that we have in this
Yes.
country. So what the National Youth Council is doing is engaging stakeholders, and as a voice, what we do, we have a superstructure roof through which, if it is KEPSA, we bring KEPSA on board, and we have a dialogue. If it is something on education, we bring them on board. Like the other day, we had the Kenya University Students Organization, and we were just doing online mobilization and addressing the issue of the teacher strike, because the strike also messes the quality of education.
Of training. And
Whereby when you have a young person who should take 4 years to do a course, is taking 6 years. So in other words, you went to do agroforestry, you end up behaving like you're a doctor, you are graduating with medicine. Yeah, because you've been a career student.
Yes, they only are lying.
So the quality, this guy is the solution that when they leave, they begin to implement them.
To cut you in short,
Yes.
one of the shocking things in this
Yes.
country
Yes.
is this. You know, in giving youth skill sets,
Yeah.
it's a process.
Yes.
As Maraga said, it's not.
Yes. It's not an event.
not an event.
Yeah.
So the first thing
It's a
is
process.
that you're
Actually,
supposed
I
to-
like your languages.
Yes.
You're very
You're
judicial.
supposed to first do
Yes.
a vibrant labor market survey.
Yes.
Based on the labor market survey, you identify the skills needed.
Yes.
Based on that, you
Yes.
develop the right curricula,
Yes.
competency-based curricula. After that, you implement the curricula, and then you do what we call competency-based assessment, and then certification. After that, this youth and you do what we call job placement opportunities. They end up in industries or whatever. Thereafter, what next? One thing that has never been done in this country is what
Yes.
we call tracer study.
Yes. What is that?
Tracer study
Let
is
us understand for
whereby,
the sake of our viewers.
okay, how many students
Yes.
who graduated from University of Nairobi
Yes.
in the academic year 2016-2017
Yes.
in the School of Electric Engineering
Yes.
They are selling
are
insurance
in
policy.
jobs. No, are in jobs.
Yes. How many are there, or how many are in the house, or how many are in jobs, basically?
In jobs.
Yes.
That's what we call tracer study.
Okay.
So, and then you ask them, what are the challenges that you face?
Yes.
After leaving the university,
Yes.
you are now in the job market.
Yes.
What are the challenges that you face in getting the job?
Yeah.
You know, I cannot get a job because I don't have this skill.
Yes.
The Kenya Power and Lightning require this skill, which I don't have. That information you get is supposed to be fed back
Yes.
again to the university,
Yes.
so that this student, the unemployment in this sector.
But Hashim, you and I know very well the way this country is run.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about very important.
But that should be done by
No,
yourself.
but Hashim should
Yeah.
be a chief officer.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
let me cool him
Yes.
down. Let me cool him down.
Yes.
I
Yes.
celebrate
Should
you,
do
my
that.
friend. You are so judicial
Yes.
and technical, and these are the
If
brains.
he does a
Mandela
tracer
must
study-
make you a chief
and he
officer.
does
Why?
a serious tracer study
Yes.
in this country
Yes.
as National Youth
Yes.
Council,
Yes.
that the tracer study
Yes.
for let's say JKUAT,
Yes.
you can generate, like your second mandate is on research.
It is,
Yes.
yeah.
That research will give a lot of information that will even inform the university to correct
What
the
they need to in
curricula.
terms of
Now talking
And
of
everything.
now
Improve.
talking of treasure and placement and all those stuff, and I'm back to your case
Okay.
regarding the county. Were people not placed the right place for the right job? Or
Yes.
Yes.
If, if you put a teacher
Yes.
in charge of
Health.
veterinary,
Yes.
well, it's a question that
Mandera County is one of the counties that brags to be
it has.
the best maternal health care. Hashim.
No.
I'm just saying you.
Mandela County has the highest maternal mortality
It brags
rate in the
yeah,
world.
it brags of producing the best watermelon in northern Kenya.
Zebra melons.
Yeah, it has taken to devolution conference, production of juices. So
Hashim is
are you-
surprised.
Are you so?
He's
are you
shocked
saying that
of what
these
you're
things
saying.
that's from Mandera, or are you saying
You know what I am
Yes.
saying is
Yes.
that in the last 5 years, the government pumped 53.7 billion shillings
Yes.
into that county.
Yes.
The population of Mandela County,
53 billion
53.7 billion shillings.
in Mandela for
Mandela.
what period?
Devolution.
What period?
5 years of devolution. The
5
first
years
5
of-
years.
Oh, the first
Yes.
5 years.
Yes.
It was 50.
3.7 billion.
billion.
If you divide that,
Yes.
population of Mandela, everybody, including you and me, are supposed to get 150,000 every month.
But
Every
I think you are getting.
The question is, we have extremely high maternal and neonatal deaths
Yes.
because as it stands now, it's 3,725 per 10,000 live births. the highest after Afghanistan. Unemployment
like that.
among the youth
I think it's top of his game.
is extremely high. Because 70% of the youth in Mandera County, 70% of the population in Mandera County is youth. 3, access to quality education is the lowest. If you look at, for example, the transition from primary to secondary, it's only 7%.
So what are you expecting out of your...
If you look at the net enrollment rate, not to cut you short,
And is there what
in
works?
the country,
Yes.
in Kenya,
Yes.
we have 88% what we call net enrollment rate,
Yes.
whereby school-age children
Yes.
are in school.
Yes.
In Mandera, it's only 32%.
You have been challenged to be, for things like that. So, and we are coming back to how you want to pursue this matter and where it wants to end. But before we go to that, Umi, you talked about, students not joining schools and
Yes.
low rates of school enrollment.
Yes.
Umi runs an organization called
Kesho.
Kesho Alliance. Kesho means Kiswahili. We all know what it
Tomorrow,
means.
yeah.
An alliance, yeah. Now, Umi, I want you to take us through what Kesho Alliance does and how you raise your finances to make sure that other kids go to school or other students make sure that they finish school.
Yeah. So we have a program called the student sponsorship, whereby we thought now the youth, especially as you said, 70% of the population in Mandera is the youth. So how can we make use of that number? We thought we decided to bring now students from all over the institutions in Kenya. We just targeted Futi, they're mini, like UN has about 5-6 campuses. So we decided we bring them together. Each now student commits to provide 1,000 shillings a year, which now if you have 40 campuses on board and each now produces 1,000 and you are targeting 10 in every circle, you have 400,000 shillings. So that can now send 6 students to school. We thought
Which school now?
in
Primary,
high school,
secondary,
high
university?
school. Because with the reviewed,
Yes.
But Umi,
Wait,
What we
let
need
me-
to do
Yes.
is
Umi,
that, we don't treat symptoms, we treat the disease. If someone is coughing, he could have pneumonia or TB.
Yes.
You don't treat the cough.
Yes.
Let's look at the root cause of low enrollment in schools in northern Kenya, whether Mandera, Garissa, or Wajir.
Yes.
Let's look at
Because the challenges in Mandera are
issue
the
of
same in
access
Garissa.
is the same.
Yes.
Retention is also an issue.
Yes.
Because if you look at retention, a girl who is enrolled in grade 1, standard 1, in 2015, today she is not in school.
Yes, and exactly
Why?
that's
So many factors. One, early marriage is one of them.
yeah.
2, issue of FGM.
Yes.
3 is the attitude of the
Families.
parents towards education, preferring
The
Especially
society,
girls.
let me just say
So-
how the girl
Yeah.
child is treated towards
that the
education.
issue number one is on access. The second issue is on quality of education. Quality is where we don't have teachers. The pupil-teacher ratio in northern Kenya today is 1 teacher for 86 students.
Yes.
The textbook student ratio in northern Kenya is 1 textbook.
I think
seven
Simba,
children.
those
Yeah,
are
it's pretty
challenges
much-
that
those
can
are the
be
challenges.
those are the challenges
Those are
that
the
can be
challenges.
yeah.
The root
But
cause.
I also wanted Umi
Yes, which I
to
was
tell us
coming to.
what she's doing
Yeah.
as with her team.
Yes.
You know the issues are too much.
The challenges
Yes,
are
the
many.
challenges are many.
Yeah.
And we all know
But,
that, like everyone knows.
And
as
have
an
you done a
individual-
course on challenges?
Yes, as an individual.
Are you an expert?
No, I think he's just
No,
passionate
yes,
about
but
the
you're good.
issue.
You're good. No, it's good. It's good to
but
know
as
the
an
gaps.
individual, but as an individual,
Yeah.
Umi has gone out of her way to do something
True, true.
and also share her passion with other students
Yeah.
in other campuses.
Yeah.
And that is why she has come to where she is. That's how she met Daniel. That's how she got awarded the Zuri Award.
No,
So
by
go
the way,
ahead,
I'm
go ahead,
following-
go ahead.
I am
Yeah.
one of the key
Yes,
followers
yes.
of Kesho.
Oh,
what
yes,
they
Yeah.
do.
exactly.
They're doing a very
Yes,
good job.
yes.
I
But
mean,
the
I
problem is
like
the challenge is too
the
much.
facts that you've highlighted, which we are
The challenge
addressing.
is
Yes.
too much.
And as they have been
Which we
trained.
are
Yes.
addressing.
Actually,
Yeah.
Hashim is
Go ahead.
supporting
Yes.
supporting Umi.
Yeah, yeah.
Only we are saying let Umi do her job now.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so
But it's too much because she
Go ahead,
needs
go
all
ahead,
the
go
support.
ahead.
yes, no, the challenges are there, as he said, because I was in Hagadera like a month ago, and we all know that that's a camp that's managed by the donors.
Yes.
The schools are there, but you wouldn't find children in school. So we are asking ourselves why. You know the challenges. You know that quality education is not just education, we need quality.
Yeah.
Are there good teachers? Are there trained teachers who can offer these courses to the schools? Are there nice facilities in the schools? Because you'd find a school in Saka, in Lagdera, that has no labs. But at the end of the year, that child is expected to sit for KCSE to be graded equally as a child in a national school. So that is how we've come about. We are actually working with Daniel to carry out a survey. You know the challenges, but not everyone knows. Some of the parents don't even know what's the key issue.
The shocking thing
Yes.
is, just to support her,
Yeah.
you know, we are talking about labs or anything. We're talking about child-friendly spaces.
Yeah.
Child-friendly spaces is whereby in some schools, the ones you mentioned in Balambala, for example, I did some survey there, we don't have separate toilets for boys and girls.
Exactly.
How do you expect a girl to use a toilet? And the way our girls are very short.
True.
So the dropout is, you know, you could prevent it if you build separate toilets for girls.
So Umi, you are doing a great job, and I'm sure everyone here applauds what you are doing, and Daniel and others are giving you great and support,
Yeah,
and you all have
yeah.
a blessing. So I want you to conclude by generally telling us in simple terms what is the way forward, and also wishing
Yeah,
Ramadan Kareem to our Muslim viewers.
So as my friend Simba highlighted, all those are the challenges that are there. But we cannot just be like hiding behind the challenges and be complaining, oh, we have these problems, we can't. So we decide now, what can we do about it? We have decided to help more kids enroll in schools, look out for the schools that lack the facilities, partner with the county governments, with the national governments, with the organizations that are there to support us, and make education system in Northeastern just better. And I would like to wish everyone Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you. As you conclude, Baba CEO.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm really grateful for this discussion, and as the CEO of National Youth Council, I want to salute the Daniels of this world, Umis of this world, because they've believed that you have to do something despite the challenges. But I also want to salute the Hashims of this world, who also reminds us as young people, let's know our facts. Because when we get to know facts, solutions and opportunities are in knowing your facts. So above all, the government has got a responsibility, and the responsibility, we have to keep on telling the government, do more, because it is our taxes. And the stakeholders also have to be brought on board. So it's the only way forward that we'll have, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sure this will not be the end of our discussion.
Yes.
We'll go off air and continue with our discussion.
Yes.
But I thank Qadar for hosting the show, and I wish everyone Ramadan Kareem. And with Umi, of course, and with Ray, we will have a lot of other and with my friend Juma, who left.
Yes.
So we will discuss more on how to concretize these issues and make it feasible, so that it's not just a talk shop, but also Horizon TV for giving us this platform,
Yes,
because it's this platform that we are going to share, and then the discussion will now take
Thank
to the
you.
public.
Thank you, Hashim. Thank you, Hashim. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Umi. And Daniel, who was here before, for coming to the show. I know it was not easy. You just landed in the country today. This guy was in Mombasa last night. He came this morning. And you gave us that, chance to be here. It's not everyone who prioritize. We don't take it for granted, especially those you just landed. You also landed from Mombasa, Daniel and Ombi. Welcome. This is our first show since today is the first day of Ramadan, since the month of Ramadan. We want to wish all our viewers a happy Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem and Sawm Maqbool. Thank you very much. Keep it there. As usual, our social media platform, Horizon TV Kenya on Facebook, at Horizon TV Kenya on Twitter, and myself at Ahmed Qadar on Twitter. Ramadan Kareem. Bye.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.